Hey everybody, welcome to the channel and our barn dominium. We have 2,300 square feet that are supplied by these two mini split systems. And today we're ready to switch from the cooling season to the heating season. And so I thought I'd show you some of the maintenance, pretty much the only maintenance that homeowners need to do to these. So our system was put in by M&M Electric, and we have 3 of these heads downstairs, and then we have 4 upstairs. Each of these heads has its own remote, and that's one of the things that makes it nice, is you can pick whatever temperature you want in each room. The only thing that is a concern or whatever, or a consideration, is that the entire system needs to either be on heat or on cool. You can't have some heads on cool and others on heat. But that's not really a big deal. One of the nice things about having a tin roof is my magnetic camera sticks right to it. So these heads all open up some kind of way. And these Fujitsu heads simply grab from the sides, which, like I said, is pretty much the same as all of them that I've seen. Lift up and then your door will hold open. Then I'm going to pull this up a little higher so you can see it. And actually, this head can be removed simply by lifting up. Once a year we have M&M come in and they do a deep clean, wash these heads out. But what I'm going to do today is simply clean these filters. And so these all have these removable filters. And honestly, you should probably pull these out and clean them once a month. But I'm going to do it today as we switch over from the cooling season into the heating season. You can see there's not a lot of dust trapped on there. Different ones are different ways. Okay, and I'm just going to wash these out in the mop sink that we've got down here in our laundry room. The other option that you could use for cleaning these, and I've done this before too, is to take a shop vac and just run over this with the vacuum and suck all the dust out of it that way. And I don't know that it makes a difference, but what I like to do is either, you know, try to clean it the way the dust was getting on. So the dust basically is being pulled through this way. So if I wash it out that way, if I'm using a vacuum, I try to go off the face of it. So wash that off, just kind of tap the water out of it. And you can put these back on slightly damp. It's not going to hurt it at all. Each one of those heads have a drain in them for condensation anyway, and this water will go right down the same drain. I'll wash off the other one. I have to dry up the splattered water on these wooden. We made these counters ourselves, and they're very deeply poly coated, but still don't like any excess water sitting on them. Okay, with these cleaned and kind of knocked the water out, slide them back up, and they're real simple. They just drop in the track. Okay, something you should keep an eye on is, you know, these louvers also get dusty. And let me change the setting on this. Crank it down. So look at these louvers also and take a rag and knock any dust off of them and stuff. But what you want to look for is any kind of mold or anything growing along these. Sometimes these mini split heads can get where they don't drain the condensate out good and they can grow mold in there. And that's why you should have whoever your installer or contractor was come in and do a deep clean on these once a year. They also make sure that condensate drain line's not clogged up so that these drain properly and don't grow mold. Okay, and I just take a damp paper towel and wipe everything off here. Just get it all nice and clean for going into the winter. And actually, I'm on the list for M&M to come out and do the yearly cleaning. You can see there's some dust on that. And then, like I said, I'll go ahead and take and wipe these louvers also. But I'm real happy that there's not any mold or anything growing here. I've seen it before. It can happen. This particular one is on a condensate collection pump. So once the little pump container fills up out in the garage, then it shoots it to the drain. Kind of like a toilet float tank. All right, so with all that cleaned up, I'll put the cover back on. And again, I didn't have to take this cover off. I just did it to kind of make it easier to show what we were doing. But it just sits in that trough and closes. Do a final wipe off. And this mini split has now been cleaned. And like I said, again, once a year they should get a deep cleaning where they actually put a big plastic tarp on this and power wash it out basically with a little pump sprayer. But for your monthly maintenance, and definitely when you switch over from heating season to cooling season or vice versa, clean them off. Okay, and here's another one of our mini splits. It's in the workout room. And I'll show you another method of cleaning those filters. Okay, and this one comes apart the exact same way. I'm gonna stand on my Maggie's workout machine here. So anyway, just they have little finger grooves on the side, tilted up, and it holds on. Now these are the same exact idea, but just they do it a little different. But you pull these two filters out and go clean them off. Okay, so the other method that works really well for cleaning these filters is simply use a shop vac. The nice thing with a shop vac is you can actually kind of see the dust leaving, but it's way faster just to run it under running water. So the water method's how I've been doing it. Okay, we'll put this one back together. So you may need a step ladder to do this, or something to climb on, like I climbed on that piece of workout equipment. But for me, with these 8-foot ceilings and these mounted right at the top, I'm 6'2", so I really don't need any extra help. And this one's really clean, so I don't need to wipe anything down. Shut the door. Okay, and that one's ready to switch over. So we had these put in before we had anything on the wall, since we did the walls ourselves. And so to do that, we ended up just putting the holders for the remotes right next to the mini splits. We figured that would be the easiest way for us not to lose them. But like I said, if you change the temperature a lot or anything, being that high might be a problem. Okay, and the last one I'll do is here in the master bedroom. And it gets a little dirtier than the rest just from the amount of dust, I guess, in the probably our second most used room in the house. So pull these up, and actually these look really good. I've seen where these have been a little dirtier than that. So these aren't really any dirtier than the ones in the workout room. So clean them off and get them back on. Okay, let's put these two filters back in. And like I said, usually if there's any of these filters that look like they need cleaned, it seems to be the ones in the bedrooms, more so than out in the living room or anywhere else in the house, definitely the workout room. So this one looks really clean. Okay, so let's go over the switching over then. Okay, so let's go over the switching from the cooling season to the heating season. And on this one, the first thing that I do is I just turn it off. So right now it's on cool and it's set at 70. So I'll turn that off. And when I turn it off, you can see these vents close up. And the display goes blank. So we are now off. And so what I'll do is I'll start by turning all of these mini splits that are on the same head outside off. Okay, and on this one, the remote says start, stop. So this head's a little bit different, but same thing. I hit stop, the louvers close, and the unit is off. Again, there's no display now on the remote. Okay, so trying to turn this one off, the batteries are dead in the controller. There's a little bit of stuff lit up, so it's not totally dead, but it's dead enough that it's not going to control my mini split. So let's try that, change that out. Okay, so on this remote, it uses AAA batteries. It says so right there, and it also says pull this tray down to there so you can see the buttons, and then pull it a little bit farther, and here's actually a battery indicator with an arrow. So just pull that down, and there are our batteries. So I'll get those two switched out. Okay, got our two new batteries in. The cover just slides back up. We're ready to rock and roll. Okay, look how much brighter that control screen is now. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. And the louvers are closing. So I guess when you change heating seasons, it's also a good time to check your batteries in not just your smoke detector, but maybe your remotes for your heating and cooling system mini splits. All right, so now that this is the third head on this downstairs system, I can go ahead and switch the mode to heat. So I'm gonna turn it on, and then I'm gonna use the mode button, and you can see all the different modes. There's heat, but look, there's auto, cool, dry, fan, and there's heat. And so the heat is going to be on, and I certainly am not going to have it at 76. I'm going to turn this down to 64 for now, because it's been getting into the 30s at night, but it's still getting up to, you know, today was 66 was the high today. So we've got this switched over. Let's go switch the others to heat. And I'll put the remote back up in its holder. Okay, so here we'll turn the unit on, and then on this one the mode is right here next to the on off, and we'll go same thing, same settings. We'll go to heat, and then I'm going to turn the temperature down to 64. Okay, on these mini splits, when you change something on it, how you know that it's done it, like if I turn this one off, obviously the louvers close, but at the same time, this light flashes and it beeps. Okay, so we're on heat and it's set here at 70. I'm going to turn that down, and how you'll know that it actually received the command from the remote is this little light will blink and it will make a little beeping noise. So I'll see if I can capture that. Okay, so it's now set on 64. What I've seen with these remotes is sometimes if you're farther away, you'll change the remote and the remote will change, but if it doesn't pick it up, you haven't changed anything on your mini split. So this is one of our upstairs units. So we've got them switched to heat as well. And like I said, set on 64 because we don't like it real warm in the house anyway. And this being upstairs, it stays warmer than the downstairs does anyway. So this is the view out of our upstairs carving shop. And it shows, you know, the garage portion of our building. And, you know, that is well insulated. Those overhead doors are very well insulated. But we don't have any heat out there or cooling. But if we keep those doors shut, it actually stays real comfortable in that garage. And honestly, like I said, as cold as it's ever gotten, it's never gotten below freezing. I think the lowest temperature we've ever had out there was like 38 one day when it was super cold, below zero outside. So works pretty well. We could add mini splits out there, but our current system only has room for one more head, and one more head wouldn't do really anything out there. So we'd have to put in a whole nother probably compressor outside to run that. And we might do that at some point. What I originally thought was I'd put a wood stove out there, but my insurance guy said, no, you're not. Okay, we have dehumidifiers as well. And so I go ahead and do these filters also once a month. And they just pull out like this. And same thing, run them under the sink to clean the dust off of them and put them back. We found in this house that, you know, the mini splits are great, but the dehumidifiers are absolutely important too, to keep the moisture levels down and all that comes with that humidity. All right, well, that's how we switch our barn dominium that's powered by mini splits over from the cooling season to the heating season. And at the same time, don't forget to get your outside hoses. You don't want one of those frozen. So unscrew those hoses, and if you've got a shut off inside the house for those outside valves, turn those off as well. So hope you liked the video. If you got anything out of this content, give us a thumbs up. It absolutely helps our channel. And we invite you to subscribe to see more. Have a great day and be safe.